you'll hear me say that at times, the more you have, the less you should be doing, because those Benjamins will work for you 24/7 and they don't get tired. Place is it fully booked now?
Just a few days here and
As of
there.
tomorrow, the rooms will be filled. All 4 rooms will be filled.
And when I sent the days of the housekeeping to the housekeeper, she sent me back a big text. Wow.
She loves it. She
Yeah.
loves it.
Yeah.
Let me talk to that just for a second. Okay, because here's something that you may, if you guys have been around for a while, you've heard me say it. If you haven't, you're gonna hear me say it maybe for the first time. What that is, and it also ties into what I was talking about in the beginning of while we were waiting for people to come on. And it was about, I say this all the time, the more you have, the less you should be doing, right? And that goes really contrary to what traditional wisdom, what that normally says. Traditionally, it's saying, well, the more you got, then you're going to be busy, right? So it goes against that premise, because the more you have, which is why we're able to do so much more, is because the less we should be doing, or the more, not do so much more, have so much more, because the more you have, the less you should be doing. Why do I say that? Well, if they're making, we just showed the numbers on this first one, the numbers came out, what did we say? The numbers were about $42,000 a year after rent's paid, right?
Wow.
So here's the thing though, they don't need that whole $42,000, right? Why do I say that? Because if they were so busy trying to squeeze every penny and keep every penny of that $42,000 in their pocket, they would not have the freedom. What did they do? Same thing I do, same thing you all will be doing or are doing already. You're gonna break some of that off, right? You're gonna break some of that off and bless other people that have a love and a passion and a desire to do those things that you don't want to do. And look at what she said. She saw those 4 bookings and she's like, wow, that's great. Now, here's the other thing though. Of that money that I just showed you after rent, that's not even the cleaning, because cleaning is paid for by the guest, right? The cleanings are paid for by the guest. That's a separate fee. And I'm not trying to make any money on cleanings. I just don't want to lose money on cleanings either. So pretty much the only thing I'm charging, the only thing you should be charging when it comes to cleanings is what you're going to be paying your cleaner and whatever the supplies are going to be for the most part. So you're going to add a little bit on top of that to cover supplies over time. Like it all balances it out. But then the next level is, okay, so cleaning's taken care of, but that whole $42,000, you might have someone else that is doing some other extra things for you. Like for instance, whether it be maintenance or whether it be like your after hours person that may be going and checking on things. So you might, give them a little bit. So instead of 42, maybe you're keeping 35 or 37 or 36. So you still got the majority of it, but what do you have that's even more valuable? Your time and your peace of mind. So for that extra $3,000 or $4,000 that I'm giving up, I have the time to go get another 42,000, right? And then do the same thing, and then go get another 42,000 and do the same thing. And then now it's just stacking on top of each other. Why do you think I was able to pick up this almost $1 million portfolio out here in Florida? Because I got the time and the space, but I wasn't searching for it. I was meaning, the whole perspective, as I talked to Rosa early in the years, one of the things that I want to do this year, which was last year, by the end of the year, I want to get the portfolio up to about $1 million. She's like, well, how are you going to do that, Dad? I said, well, I don't know yet. We just, she goes, well, I go, but that's not the main thing I'm doing. I just, literally, we may have gone on a couple of appointments through the year. We added a couple because people were just giving us stuff like other landlords and stuff. But it wasn't coming close to that number that I was expecting, you know, that I needed to get it to the million. But it was also something that was out there. We had already put it out there, right? We talked about it. It was part of the vision. So you don't have to grind either, right? It doesn't have to be a grind. And what happened was this thing kind of fell in our lap, and I was like, I ain't going to Florida. I have no desire to go to Florida. But then after we thought about it a little bit, one of the first things Rosa said was, but Dad, you said you wanted to get your portfolio up to $1 million. You weren't expecting this, but it came. I'm like, yeah, you're right. So we thought about it. And there were other non-business reasons for doing it. You know, that's kind of how that stuff works. But having the space in time, if I was out there grinding, trying to keep every little dollar and cent and penny, when the opportunities come about that God's placing in before you, you're so busy doing the non-important things that you won't, in many cases, you're going to just step right over it or miss it. You'll hear me say that at times, the more you have, the less you should be doing, because those Benjamins will work for you 24/7 and they don't get tired.